Okay. Hello, everyone. Our group's assignment is about specific concept and application of impression formation theory in daily life. We will explain in a question and answer format that application of impression formation theory and how to use this concept to perform communication skill to strengthen interpersonal relationships. First, let me introduce the theory of impression formation, which also affects the way we communicate with other people in our daily lives. This influence is mutual, and according to research, our perception allows us to form general and specific perception of other people's impression, which may be active or passive. Since impression formation is an automatic process, people are not aware that it occurs. But people generalize them and form messages. But most of the time, the behavior we perceive is very vague. Let me introduce a video.
Information. This video presentation is brought to you by Jody Mary Hastings, Anita Baker, Atal Houghton, Nicholas Beckford, Terry Chinchasing, and Rashin Reed. What is impression formation? One might simply say that this is an idea, feeling, or opinion about something or someone. When we meet someone for the first time, we are bombarded with information that we see, hear, smell, and feel, and these experiences help us to form impressions of that person. Now imagine that we're a group of young, eco-friendly entrepreneurs and we're looking for enthusiastic, like-minded people to join our business. And we see this one guy come in for an interview and he's laying down right in the middle of the desk, snoring away and taking a nap. What impression are we likely to have of him? This other guy comes in and he's kicked back in the office chair and he's sipping his juice. What are we really gonna think of this man? Now finally, another guy comes in and he's riding his
I believe you already have understand of the theory of impression formation. Do you have any question?
Can you give some specific examples? I don't quite understand its concept in daily life and its relationship with interpersonal communication.
Okay, so for example, when we see a physically strong person, we may subconsciously think that he's brave, but if he's timid every time he does something, our impression of him may shift to one of timid, and we may approach his interpersonal interaction differently.
So how specifically does it affect the way of communication?
Okay, let me give you a specific example. In our daily life, when we chat with people who don't like to talk at first, we may think that they are slow, so we will choose a slow way of communication. If they don't like the dullness of any communication method, then they will also switch from a more enthusiastic communication method at the beginning to a more dull communication method. The result in both parties neglecting to impress upon each other's strengths.
Is our impression of others good or bad?
Nothing is absolutely good or bad, but it can be viewed in a positive light. To understand the negative, let me give you an example. I personally like playing basketball, but in the eyes of people who like it, this is a positive behavior. But in the eyes of a person who hates basketball, it's a negative behavior. Will bring a bad impression. If people didn't have the opinion of the basketball, it's also possible that it's neither a good nor a bad impression. If the target engaged in this behavior, it can be considered an ambiguous behavior in the eyes of the recipient. During the impression formation process, many factors influence the recipient interpretation of ambiguous behavior, thereby affecting the formation of the impression. I will pass partner Fatora.
Thank you for your explanation. Hello, everyone. For this part, I would like to present the specific concept of stereotypes and those applications in daily life. First of all, let me introduce the definition of stereotypes in general. A stereotype is a wrong or simplified belief that many people have about a thing or a group, mainly judging them based on their appearance. This judgment may not be entirely true or accurate. Stereotyping people is often seen as a kind of prejudice because it focuses on how someone looks on the outside, ignoring the fact that a person's appearance is only a small part of they truly are on the inside.
So in the daily life of interpersonal communication, we will encounter this situation in what scenario?
Cultural interaction, of course. When people from different cultural backgrounds communicate, stereotypes may arise based on the preconceived notion about each other cultures. Moreover, meeting people from different places, let's see how we, as a college student, we will encounter these stereotypes. Our campus has a lot of students that coming from different nations and countries, so that when you meet someone from a different country, you might have preconceived ideas about their culture, which can lead to stereotypes.
I feel a little bit confused. Can you give some specific examples?
Sure, I will give the portray how stereotype look like in general currently. As intense, the most happening stereotype surrounding us currently is ethnicity stereotype. An ethnic stereotype is a prejudgment definition about people race like black, white, Asian, European, and others. Moreover, ethnic city clusters such as Hispanic, Native American, Pashtun, and so on, as the intense that has stick as a cultural tradition is many old people are still strongly related to the tradition or conservative mindset are willing their children to marry a person from the same race. This prejudice can lead people to the loss of feeling of experiencing true love and happiness. Then, how if stereotype connect to the use of interpersonal communication? Here the condition. Lucas assumed Arabic people will use closed dresses to fully recover their body, and Lucas just traveled to Saudi Arabia, which is the residence of Arabian. Based on Lucas' stereotype, he assumed that all Arabian must wear polite outfit, so that to respect their culture, he also wearing polite outfit.
So how can we use it in interpersonal communication?
Stereotype might be useful in order to make a proper communication going. In each race, culture, nation, tribe, and etc., they have their own characteristic that will establish a variety of stereotypes. For some cases, in order to make an effective interpersonal communication, the existences of the stereotype itself will serve as a comprehensive result of the feedback that leads to the useful stereotype. And next, I will introduce my fellow Adrian.
So my presentation is about the specific concept of halo effect and its application in daily life. First of all, allow me to introduce the halo effect. The halo effect is a bias where your overall positive or negative impression of something influence your opinion about specific aspect of that thing. This kind of bias can affect how we judge and decide things. It's important to be aware of it and try to be more objective, considering specific qualities rather than relying on the first impression.
In the life of interpersonal communication, we will encounter this situation in what scenario?
In interpersonal communication, you may encounter the halo effect in some cases, such as first impression, meeting someone in the first time, especially they appear friendly and confident, can lead to a positive halo effect, affecting how we perceive other aspects of their personality. Moreover, as college students who they will enter the job after graduation, we might encounter this situation, which is job interview. If someone makes a positive first impression during the job interview, their skill and abilities might be rated higher than they actually are due to the halo effect.
Can you give some specific example regarding to that?
As an instance, pleasant and confident voice tone can create a halo effect during a phone conversation. For instance, we are facing technical issues with our computer. We decided to phone the customer's hotline. Peter was the man who answered the phone. Peter welcomed, and his voice was warm and confident from the start. He listened to us explain the problem we were having with our computer in a calm and encouraging manner. Therefore, we will be interact with the problematic customer service representative and recognize Peter was confident and pleasant voice right away. Despite the technical language, he made sure to translate the instructions into simple terms. We enjoy his patience and the warm and reassuring tone he maintained throughout. His voice created a halo effect, leading us to assume that he was not only informed and capable, but also truly interested in assisting us.
And how can we use it in interpersonal communication?
Understanding the halo effect can assist people in making more objective and well-informed decision in a variety of life. This bias can affect how we judge and decide things. The halo effect shows that our brain like to make quick judgment, but it's crucial to think carefully and look at the details to make smarter and better choice in our daily life. So in a nutshell, we can learn through this video on how the halo effect affects our daily life.
It appears that the halo effect is one of the most common biases affecting performance appraisals. Supervisors can rate subordinates based on the perception of a single characteristic rather than the whole and entirety of their performance. Things like they're defensive, they're difficult, they're argumentative, are perceptions that lead to negative perceptions of all other performance abilities, or they're enthusiastic, positive, and have a great attitude, or positive perceptions that can overshadow their lack of knowledge or skill, meaning that supervisors rate them more highly than their actual performance justifies. Now, of course, being aware of the halo effect still doesn't make it easy to avoid, and it doesn't make it easy to avoid its influence on our own perceptions and decisions. And the halo effect is just one of many biases that allow people to make snap decisions that contribute to overall errors in judgment.
Okay, then I will pass it to my fellow friends. Thank you.
Hello everyone, this part of my presentation is about the specific concept of recency effect and its application in daily life. First of all, allow me to introduce recency effect. The recency effect is the tendency to remember the most recently presented information best. For example, if you are trying to remember a list of items, the recency effect means that you are more likely to remember the items on the list that you looked at most recently. This is part of the serial position effect, a phenomenon in which the position of items in a list affect how well they are remembered.
Is in the live interpersonal communication, we will encounter this situation in what scenario?
Well, when you try to invite a friend to hang out with you, you might find yourself in the situation. Think about which friends you would think of if it were you. It's possible that you have a good memory for your best friend, but you are more likely to think of the last person you went out with who made you a good impression.
So, can you give some specific example?
Yeah, according to experiments, all peoples are affected by recency effect, and people with simple cognitive structures are more prone to recency effect. This effect highlights the importance of time in forming impressions, as recent information tends to have a greater impact on our impressions. Also, in this scenario, a couple had a strong and harmonious relationship, but over time, the man's growing unhappiness due to domestic problems began to affect their interaction. As a result, the woman began to notice that he occasionally became grumpy with her. If the man were involved in a case of fraud, the woman might be inclined to believe that his recent behavior was a reflection of his past action, reinforcing the impact of the last impression effect.
How can we use it in interpersonal communication?
Through these examples, we can see more clearly how recent effects affect our judgment and perceptions. Remember that when we interact with others and form impressions, the time factor is crucial because recent information has the potential to have a more profound impact. Thank you.
Okay, this is our presentation. Thank you, guys.